the Cold War is, I think, fundamental to the way people saw science and math in the Soviet Union. I don't know if that was true in the United States, but certainly was in the Soviet Union.
It
That's,
definitely was, and I would love to hear more about how it was in the Soviet Union.
I mean, there's, and we'll talk about the Olympiad. I just remember that there was this feeling like the world hung in a balance, and you could save the world with the tools of science. And mathematics was like the superpower that fuels science. And so, like, people were seen as, people in America often idolize athletes, but ultimately, the best athletes in the world, they just throw a ball into a basket. So, like, there's not what people really enjoy about sports, and I love sports, is like excellence at the highest level. But when you take that with mathematics and science, people also enjoyed excellence in science and mathematics in the Soviet Union. But there's an extra sense that that excellence would lead to a better world. So that created all the usual things you think about with the Olympics, which is like extreme competitiveness, right? But it also created this sense that in the modern era in America, somebody like Elon Musk, whatever you think of them, like Jeff Bezos, those folks, they inspire the possibility that one person or a group of smart people can change the world. Like, not just be good at what they do, but actually change the world. And mathematics was at the core of that. And I don't know, there's a romanticism around it too. Like, when you read books about, in America, people romanticize certain things like baseball, for example. There's like these beautiful poetic writing about the game of baseball. The same was the feeling with mathematics and science in the Soviet Union, and it was in the air. Everybody was forced to take high level mathematics courses. Like, you took a lot of math, you took a lot of science, and a lot of like really rigorous literature. Like, the level of education in Russia, this could be true in China, I'm not sure, in a lot of countries, is in whatever that's called. It's K to 12 in America, but like young people education, the level they were challenged to learn at is incredible. It's like America falls far behind, I would say. America then quickly catches up and then exceeds everybody else at as you start approaching the end of high school to college. Like, the university system in the United States arguably is the best in the world. But like, what we challenge everybody, it's not just like the A students, but everybody to learn in the Soviet Union was fascinating.
I think I'm going to pick up on something you said. I think you would love a book called Duel at Dawn by Amir Alexander, which I think some of the things you're responding to in what I wrote, I think I first got turned on to by Amir's work. He's a historian of math, and he writes about the story of Évariste Galois, which is a story that's well known to all mathematicians, this kind of like very, very romantic figure who he really sort of like begins the development of this theory of groups that I mentioned earlier, this general theory of symmetries, and then dies in a duel in his early 20s, like all this stuff mostly unpublished. It's a very, very romantic story that we all learn. And much of it is true, but Alexander really lays out just how much the way people thought about math in those times, in the early 19th century, was wound up with, as you say, romanticism. I mean, that's when the romantic movement takes place. And he really outlines how people were predisposed to think about mathematics in that way because they thought about poetry that way and they thought about music that way. It was the mood of the era to think about, we're reaching for the transcendent, we're sort of reaching for sort of direct contact with the divine. And so part of the reason that we think of Galois that way was because Galois himself was a creature of that era and he romanticized himself.
Yeah.
I mean, now we know he like wrote lots of letters and like he was kind of like, I mean, in modern terms, we would say he was extremely emo. Like that's like just we wrote all these letters about his like florid feelings and like the fire within him about the mathematics. And so it's just as you say that the math history touches human history. They're never separate because math is made of people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's people who do it, and we're human beings doing it, and we do it within whatever community we're in, and we do it affected by the mores of the society around us.